So, good evening. We're back again. We're back on a Friday, actually, because Arsenal are playing on a Sunday. Merry Christmas to
Merry
everyone who's
Christmas.
celebrating today.
Merry
There's a
Christmas,
lot of
everyone.
Merry Christmas,
the
everyone.
world are celebrating today. A lot of the world is actually on Christmas Day now, if they're not celebrating on the 24th, because of time zone. So, big up to all of you guys as well. And big up to everyone who doesn't celebrate. Just enjoy the time off and relax. Get ready for the Boxing Day fixture against Norwich. There's always some off-key results on Boxing Day. Jez, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very well, man. All set, ready to go. Night stay tomorrow, just me and the wife. Normally, well, for years and years and years, had my mum and dad, but obviously not now. But Boxing Day, got the daughters, grandkids, their partners. So it's going to be a house full Boxing Day. We've got probably the biggest turkey I've ever seen in my life. It is massive. Honestly, swear to God, it's massive.
Is it going to get in the oven?
No, it will. Well, squeeze it in a bit, like get it, kick it. No, it'll be fine.
Is this going to be like a scene off of Only Fools and Horses, Jez?
Yeah, I'll be in the bath tomorrow morning, defrosting it and having a shave. You know what I mean? Like, what was that one? The Royal Family, wasn't it? Royal Family. Yeah, Denise and whatever. No, looking forward to it. I've got to be honest, I'm a big lover of Christmas. I like it, especially we've got the grandkids round on Sunday. It'll be a fun day. Looking forward to it. And I wish everybody in the chat a very happy Christmas to you and all your families, and have a lovely time.
No, well said, mate. What about you, Kenny? How are you, mate?
Well, first and foremost, I just want to wish everyone in Germany happy Christmas Eve, because I believe in Germany Christmas Eve is bigger than Christmas Day. So they're celebrating Christmas now in Germany. All the Germans, people in Austria as well. Happy Christmas as well, because I know it's a massive, massive day for you guys. So happy Christmas to you guys. Me, I've got my niece here already, and I've got the daughter's wife, my sister-in-law, my brother's. He's spending Christmas with his love as well. So it's just going to be like it's us, all of us, really. So I'm going to pretend to enjoy it, and I'm not going to try and disappear in this room and watch all the Arsenal classics and football in the 70s, football in the 60s, all those sort of boring football matches, boxing and cricket. I'm going to try and be a bit more social. But guess what? I did test positive for for a coronavirus, even though I'm triple jab. So my wife had me upstairs.
Don't even start me.
No, she said to me, upstairs now. And I said, well, I'm still at work. They haven't let us off work first. They said, just come up. So she couldn't fit it through my mouth, so she did it through my nose. And I haven't got a clue how these things work. But apparently, if you get a line through the C bit, you're fine. So I've got a line through the C bit.
There you go. There you go. So you've not got it then?
Well, I'm triple jab, but you never know, is it? You never know.
No. But when you did the test, did it come back that you've got it?
No, not good. I'm clean as a whistle.
Oh, I thought you said you had it. So, no, that's a result. Then.
No. What I'm trying to say is that if you get the line that goes through the C, you clear. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's only when it's like two lines that you're in deep trouble.
Well, there you go. At least you're sorted, mate. At least you're sorted. Let's start off. Big up to everyone in the chat. I know there's a lot of people in the chat that don't celebrate Christmas. Like I said, just chill and enjoy the time, man. Listen, this year's been shit for a lot of us, mate, if not all of us. So just enjoy the time of relax, rest and recuperation, and hopefully 2022 will be a better year. Also, big up to all the people that are on their own. I've seen a few people in the chat saying that they're in there for the company and stuff like that. Big up to Martin. Listen, we forget sometimes and we take family for granted. A lot of people don't have a family. So for all the people that are celebrating or not celebrating, that are on their own, yeah, big up to you lot as well, man. And listen, if we can give you a bit of a giggle and make you laugh and make you rip your hair out of some of our opinions, then yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. But let's start with the cup draw, Jez. What did you make of it? Because I was sitting there and I was thinking, oh, okay, Liverpool have sneaked through, Tottenham, and then Chelsea. And I was thinking, okay, well, Liverpool, that wouldn't be a bad draw. No Mane, no Salah. But then Tottenham, I was thinking, okay, maybe Tottenham. I didn't want Chelsea, although thinking about it now, Chelsea, their fixtures in January are a joke. They've got City, they've got Liverpool, City, Tottenham, all back to back to back. And then they got Chesterfield, I think, sandwiched in between. But are you happy with the draw? Do you think we can get to the final? If so, who do you want in the final?
Right, yeah. I think, Arsenal are a cup team. We all know that. And we turn up at cups, maybe not so much in the League Cup or the Carabao Cup, as you want to call it. I fancy it. I really do. I really fancy it. And I'm being positive. If Mr. Arteta, who we know is watching this show right now, at home with his mince pies, having a little glass of wine or something. If you pick the right team, my friend, then I'm really positive, and I would love. I'm not going to swear, it's Christmas. I would love Tottenham. I'd love it. I was actually having a drink yesterday in my local with a guy who's the same age as me. He supported Tottenham all his days. He moved down from Tottenham about the same time down to where as I did. I've known him for years. Used to see him at Spurs games back in the day. Lovely fella. And he actually said to me, I don't want you boys in the final. He said, I know you'll do us. And I said, well, yes, we will. So Merry Christmas. And I bought him a pint. He bought me a pint. We had a good old chat and a natter. And yeah, I'm positive, man. I think can do it.
I think the one thing with Liverpool is they've got what United had back in the day under Fergie. They just don't give up. Like, and that game, me and Rance was talking about this earlier. Like, Leicester were comfortable. Like, they should have been clear even more. Like, Liverpool weren't at the races, and then all of a sudden, a couple of subs come on at half time for Liverpool. Totally different game. They get back in it. You just knew they were going to score right at the end. How many times do we see Liverpool nick goals in stoppage time? They've done it against Wolves the other week, like to get the points. And they have this. Doesn't matter who comes into the team. They're all tuned into the same wavelength, and that's down to the manager saying, look, we ain't giving up here. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And there's not many other teams in the world that can do that and consistently pull out stoppage time goals that win or draw football matches. It's crazy, man. And that is the only thing I'll say, right? Like, we drew with them 5-5 last time we played them in this cup at their ground. I think it was Joe Willock scored an absolute screamer in that game. And then I think Origi, his goal was good. I think he twisted holding up and pinged it in. But that game was end-to-end and they beat us on pens. The thing is, like, they've never really taken this competition seriously, which is why they've never won it under Klopp. But we're not great. Like, and that is why, especially against Liverpool, even with reserve teams at Anfield, we still end up losing on pens like that game, or end up drawing the game when we were winning. I think we were winning that game 3 times and we ended up drawing it. And it's like, this is obviously over 2 legs. First leg at us, which I think is an advantage, if anything, because then if we can get a lead against them, we can go there and then we can do what Mikel's great at, parking the bus. You know what I mean? But yeah, looking at it, I think out of all 3 teams, I think that was probably the best draw. Although saying that, if we did get Tottenham in the final, we have to win it. Even though I don't consider them as rivals, as I've said a million times before, they will never shut up if they beat us. But Kenny, what do you think, mate?
Well, first and foremost, I looked at the fixtures. It's going to be on a Thursday, so actually Thursday 6th and Thursday the 13th, and the Chelsea and Spurs game is going to be the days before. So one of the things that caught me eye is the fact that We're definitely playing Man City on the 12:30, so that's going to be give us 5 days approximately rest. So I don't know Liverpool and Chelsea's. Liverpool and Chelsea's game, is that going to be a Sunday or a New Year's Day? Because
Chelsea are playing. I think
I
that
know
I'm
they're
going to
playing
check
Brighton the 29th.
checking it now.
I
They are
know
playing Brighton 29th at 7:30 at night, and then they're playing on the 2nd at 4:30 in the afternoon, Sunday, Super Sunday.
Playing hard, so it's a Super Sunday game. So I'm looking at the whole situation, the whole thing, and I think, you know what? Question I need to ask you: when are Mane and Salah going to the African nations? What date?
I think I'm not sure, but I think it's after the game against Liverpool. I may be wrong. The
Against
chat
Chelsea.
might be able to help us out. Yeah, the Chelsea Liverpool.
Oh yeah, hey, guys in the chat. The reason why I'm saying this is because I've got a sneaky feeling that Liverpool are going to go for this because they're playing us, and that, you know, Klopp was talking about only having one leg. Basically said forget it, just have one-off game. And I think that if Klopp's, you know, that mindset, obviously Conte's that mindset, I do have concerns because I think Liverpool will go strong. I think, you know, it could be a situation said, right, Mane and Salah win us a game, and then we'll have the kids can hold on at Anfield, and that's one of my biggest my biggest fear. Because whenever I see Liverpool, I do see, like as he said before, a DNA within that side. Because you look at it, Oxlade-Chamberlain ain't no slouch. I know a lot of people from the Get Along gang and people on Twitter slag him off, but one of the best managers in world football keeps on picking him. And the reason why he keeps on picking him because he does a job for Klopp. And even before he had his knee injury, he was playing good football for Liverpool. When he plays for Liverpool, he is effective, and there is an end product. I know a lot of Arsenal fans, especially from the Get Along gang, are in denial, but they need to, you know, take the blinkers off and watch. So he's going to be very dangerous. Origi's one of those players who just, for some reason, he knows his role, but he knows he'll make an impression. So I still think Liverpool are going to be very, very strong. And I think the game at the Emirates, I think Liverpool are going to go strong and go for that win. Then they want to take the game around for us because say Salah and Mane are fit. I'm not going to the African nations, but I do have genuine concerns because I'd rather have played Chelsea and Spurs rather than them. Reason why? Because I still regard Liverpool as a strong side, and I think Liverpool. One of the things I do worry about Liverpool is that a lot of people say Klopp doesn't take the League Cup seriously, the cup competition seriously, but I think one of the things Liverpool are going to look to do is they're going to try and match Man City, not just concentrate on Champions League and the league. I think they're going to want to win as much trophies as them in order to sort of create some sort of like domination. That's why I think this is a winnable competition for Liverpool. The fact that Man City are not in it as well, I do fear that Liverpool are going to say, you know what, let's have it. Because, you know, the European Cup is going to be in, Valentine's Day time, between Valentine's Day and the week afterwards. That's sample time for Liverpool to, you know, like I said, concentrate on the competition. By that time, they could be playing in the final. So I do have genuine concern. And again, it's us as well. We're fat track bullies. Let's face it. We played the understrength league team. We played Sunderland. Great performances from the players who don't normally get games, and a great hat trick by Eddie Nketiah. But I want to see us against a live team, and then we'll learn something about our team. Because I know it's a cup, but this is our biggest game of the season in terms of like that. I generally believe that our best avenue to get in Europe is to win a trophy, i.e. the FA Cup or League Cup.
Well, that's the thing. If we win this competition, we qualify for the Conference League.
But it's all right if we win. But I still think what's happening. If anyone needs a trophy, Mikel Arteta needs a trophy. After the first 3 games when we got absolutely tanked, to the fact that, you know, everyone was talking about us getting relegated, which was never going to happen. But you got the Aubameyang situation, I think, and then you've got people like me and you who want him out, or me, you, and Jez would be highly critical. You know, refuse to give him any credit whatsoever because we're determined that we want change for the betterment of the club. He's going to want to win a trophy to stick 2 fingers up at people like us. But
Well, that's the thing. We like
so
trophies.
Klopp
don't
want
we?
to win it as well.
Yeah, well, we like trophies, don't we, lads? Like that's what the aim of sport is to win
Dave,
the trophies.
isn't that actually why you play football, to win things?
Well,
Exactly.
definitely. But I think but I look at Mikel Arteta. He needs a trophy. He needs so, because despite the fact that everyone's praising Arsenal, saying, you know, the kids are kids, he's not a pork chop. He knows that if Conte gets it right this season, Spurs are going to be difficult to catch. If Man United with all their match winners, you know, with Ronaldo, you know, Cavani, you know, you've got Pogba could come back as well. You know, you've got, you know, Fernandes. You know, if that manager gets them playing proper football, and I don't mean, you know, like I said, attacking football, I mean organised football, and actually put attention to detail, and they go on a winning run. We're not getting to fourth place because they got too many match winners. In terms of Chelsea, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Nick third of Chelsea going. So realistically, he has to take the FA Cup and the League Cup seriously, because I don't personally think we're good enough to get fourth place at the moment, because there's better teams in front of us. I'm not counting West Ham in it. I'm counting Spurs and Man United.
Yeah, they've well, one of them we know 100% has got a top quality manager, and that's Tottenham. The other one has got a quality footballing man that so far has flattered to deceive on the pitch. For Man U, I know they've got a couple of results, but it's not been fantastic, quick turnaround that I think a lot of Man U fans expected.
It's never going to be. But the thing is, at the second half of the season, not so much last season where they did. You got to remember last season they were unbeaten away from home, and then after lockdown they went on this kind of run where Martial and you know, Greenwood just couldn't stop scoring, and that enabled them to get third place. And I do think that now they've got Ronaldo, someone who just is a robot, and you've got that sort of quality before that. I do see Man United, if they can just, you know, get some organisation defence. I do think the second half of the season they're going to batter teams, not because they've got a great manager, it's because they've got a lot of quality and a lot of too many match winners. I really do fear them.
Plus, with Pogba coming back into the team as well, obviously he's been out for a while, hasn't he? So I just want to address this comment here. Man said that Tottenham are our rivals. Bro, they're losers. They're not my rivals one bit. Yeah, they're neighbours. Noisy, mouthy neighbours. They're not rivals, mate. But listen, it's an opinion. Most of our fans will see him.
There's a good comment there, Kenny. I'm not going to name names, but there was a chap I was chatting to who actually, Tottenham fan, massive Tottenham fan, doesn't want Conte. So I said, well, would you like Arteta instead? And he actually said he rates Arteta better than Conte. And I said,
how many beers had he had at this point, Jez?
One. I said, how do you quantify that? And he went, well, he said Arteta was a great midfielder at your club. I said, I'll tell you what, mate. I said, you need to stick off that pint you've had. I said, because obviously, you know, it's just too strong for you. I said, how can you quantify that? He said, well, he's an invincible. I went, please. I said, what do you mean he was an invincible?
He signed 7 years after we did Invincible seasons. he was thinking it out at fucking Real Sociedad. Probably back in 07 or fucking Rangers or somewhere.
I said, what planet are you coming from? Now, this guy knows football. Well, I thought he did. You know, and I said, he was never a fucking invincible. I said, we bought him as a panic buy from Everton at like 11 o'clock at night on a Monday night. And I said, please get real with this. I said, how can you compare somebody who has won the European Cup, won multiple leagues, and we have a manager who loves to break the wrong records? Oh, and he came out with the absolute classic comment. Yes, but he's a young manager, and he's the youngest manager that will prove himself in Europe. I thought, oh my days.
Mate, all he's proven in Europe so far is that he can't do it. He's been knocked out by our former manager, whose squad cost 12 million quid, by the way, and he got knocked out to Olympiacos the year before.
Yeah.
One thing
Do you know what I mean?
I
After getting back in the
would say
game
about
right near the end.
It does goes to prove, guys, it's not just Arsenal fans that are deluded. There are plenty of other fans out there. I actually thought he was taking the piss. I honestly, genuinely thought he was taking the piss. And no, he was not. We had quite a long debate about it. And I was just like, really? I said, do you watch AFTV? And he said, no. But I thought, oh dear. Oh well.
I will say one thing, though. He lost me when he spoke about Arteta, but he had me when he talked about Conte. Because when I look at Spurs and I watch their game against West Ham and I watch the game against Liverpool, I speak to a Spurs fan and I said, you're lauding up Conte, but he plays the same way Jose does. Harry Kane is still drop deep occasionally, although he's gotten further forward. But you're still allowing teams to dominate possession, and you're trying to hit them over the break, and you're playing a long pass in order to through to Lucas Moura and getting Song and Kane running of them. So you're not exactly playing differently. So I suppose your friend's got a bit of a point in that. You know, he wants the kind of football that they play against, played with the Poch, where they pressed and were on the front foot and had Ericsson not only pinging passes but making runs past Kane, and they were scoring like loads of goals and everything. And Dele Alli was another one who was running past the midfielders in order to get in goal scoring positions. So I suppose he's got a point there. But when people talk about Arteta again, it's one of those things is that people are impressed because of the way he speaks.
Yeah.
You know, he speaks very well, you know, and he's very articulate, you know, and most importantly, people in football are very impressed that, you know, he managed to win the battle of Aubameyang. So
but he ain't won it yet, because he's still at the club.
He's still at the club, but in terms of like the fact that he's took the captaincy of him, and you know, he's not playing, and you know, we've got lucky with the fixture he had. You know, regardless of whether Leeds, Southampton, or West Ham had injuries, on the results list for Arteta, which we always talk about, there's 3 wins in a row in the league. So, four, because 4 wins in a row. So, you know, it's one of those things where I think he's got us. You know, with let's just say if we were playing cricket and we had the old boxes instead of those new boxes, I think our private parts will get stuck, and we have to pull them out manually because he's got us at the moment. But it won't last, as we well know, because we know Arteta. Inconsistency is his main modus operandi. You know it, Jez knows it, and you know
he is exactly the same and doing exactly. And I was speaking about this earlier. Like he is doing exactly what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer done. The only difference is Arteta's won the FA Cup and Ole won nothing. But
yeah,
he
but
went
Ole had
29
results.
unbeaten. Say again, mate.
And I think in terms of like, all right, he's won a cup, but in terms of like his return, if Ole got a similar kind of return in results and positions as the Poch did, but at Man United, that's not good enough. But if he only went to Spurs with those kind of results, they'll be building statues, you know, of him, because that's not saying that's just factual because of the fact that Spurs, before the Poch came along, weren't getting those results consistently. And I think that's the thing why Ole lost his job, because Man United have to win the league, not just a trophy to win the league, and he was a victim of that. And every Man United manager that goes there long term, will not be there long if they don't challenge the league genuinely or don't win it. They'll be gone.
Oh, 100%. Mate, I've been saying this a few times. They will sack Tuchel. I said this before my Twitter got suspended. They will sack Tuchel before Arteta gets sacked from Arsenal.
Oh, yes.
And that's not because he's a bad manager. It's because they are ruthless. They want the best. And their fixture list, I've got their fixtures up, right? 2nd of January, they got Liverpool at the Bridge. 3 days later, they got Tottenham in the League Cup at the Bridge. 3 days after that, they got Chesterfield. They can rest some players in that game, yeah? But that's 3 games in 6 days. 4 days later, they've got Tottenham away in the second semi-final, the second leg. Then 3 days after that, they've got the early kickoff. Bear in mind that's a late kickoff on the 12th in the second leg. Then they're the early kickoff on the Saturday, 3 days later, away to Man City. Then after that, they've got an 8-day knockoff until they're the late kickoff again against Tottenham. It could. I said this, like, this is make or break for Tuchel now, because by the 23rd of January, he could be in a League Cup final, or he could be knocked out by Tottenham, right? He could have dropped points to Liverpool, dropped points to Man City, and dropped points to Tottenham in the league. All of a sudden, he's now hanging on for 4th place. Is that going to be seen as acceptable? You're out of the League Cup, you're hanging on to 4th place by the end of January. Roman could fire him. Let's be real.
Well,
we've seen.
Who they got well, I'll ask you after they played Lille.
Well, that's another thing. If he gets to that point, you fully expect him to beat Lille. Having said that, on the flip side, if we're being real with it, which is what this podcast's about, they could go and batter all of them and be sat joint top or top of the league or something, and in the final. So, and that's the thing. Like, when I look at Chelsea, I just see them falling short in quite a lot of competitions because they don't score enough from their strikers or their wingers. It's all coming from their defenders. That's not sustainable, because as soon as the defenders stop scoring, they ain't scoring any goals. And that's what's happened. They've slowed right down on their goal scoring now. And Tottenham...
Well, teams have worked them out. Teams have worked Chelsea out, because what's happening with that, what Tuchel does is that he likes overlaps. But in terms of Liverpool, where Liverpool have an overlap, that overlap is players crossing into Salah, Mane, and then Diota, and before it's Firmino. But Chelsea's a bit different. It's not just he doesn't want to just create chances for Werner and Lukaku when he's fit. He wants them to actually get in goal scoring positions, and that is the where Chelsea teams have probably worked him out, and it doesn't really work with Alonso, because Alonso, for the fact that he's got a good strike of the ball, he's not going to do what Chilwell does and gets in the goal scoring positions and surprise defenders. And I think that's where Chelsea are going wrong. They've got injuries in key areas, but the way they win football matches, teams are working them out because they haven't got the personnel there.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, big up to everyone watching live, man. 400 people here. Make sure you are smacking the likes through the roof. There's only 111 likes. Come on, get the likes up, people. We know you like the content, so stick a like on it and show that you like the content. Me personally, I think we'll beat Liverpool, and I think we're getting Tottenham.
Love it.
I think we're getting Tottenham. The one thing I'll say is, when all odds were against us in 2017 with a record-breaking Chelsea team, we had Mertesacker at centre-back and we were there, Kenny. Nobody gave us a prayer. Everyone on the escalators going up, Arsenal fans, all the Chelsea fans we were talking to, nobody said we were winning it. No one. I don't think anyone thought we were going to nick that final. That was absolutely quality what we did in that game. So as good as Conte is, it's all about on the day, isn't it? And it's all about how you are going into that final, what your games before and after are, the lead up to it, injuries, COVID, etc. Like with that particular game, they had 3 weeks up. They'd won the league and then 3 weeks gap till that final. And I don't know what happened, but they weren't on it. And we were, and we took them apart, really. The scoreline don't do it justice. And when they got it back to 1-0, I was like, oh. And then Aaron Ramsey happened. But yeah, and I do think that if we get Tottenham, we're better than Tottenham in terms of our squad. But he is a quality manager. He is quality. It's whether he gets them fired up. And I think it's the one worry with that is that they ain't won a competition for 13 years. And this was that competition. Andy's only just took the job. Imagine the hero status he would get if he beat us in a final to win his first trophy for that club in 13 years.
Arsenal are a different beast in finals.
Especially at Wembley.
I'm not saying we're great in the League Cup, because I don't think we take it overly serious. We proved that against Birmingham a million years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was. Arsenal have been, let's be honest, we're pony in Europe, winning 2 European trophies. The FA Cup, well, we might just give it to us anyway and just say it's Arsenal's because we've won it the most. So nobody else bother playing for it, and we just give it to us every year. That's what I'd do if I was in the
Just call it the Arsenal FA Cup. The
just call
Arsenal
it the
FA Cup.
Arsenal. No, let's call it the Arsenal Cup. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Yeah.
we kind of didn't win anything for a while, did we? So we set up the Emirates Cup just so we could win it.
Yeah. So, you know,
Even Sonogo looks good in that.
cup, we all know it is the classic old saying, the luck of the cup. And
It
some
is.
years, your name's already engraved on that cup. And I quite fancy it. And I'm going to stick my neck out and probably look a complete dick. But I'm going for it. I really fancy it. And I'll tell you what, if we get Tottenham, well, I wouldn't even bother turning up Tottenham, to be honest. I'd just say, well, fair enough, Arsenal, it's yours. You know, there you go.
You know what? I think the biggest elephant in the room is, regardless of, we talk a lot about, Chelsea's amount of games. But if you look at Chelsea since probably 2005, when they won their first trophy for 5 years, they have been a machine. And if any team knows how to negotiate a final, despite the fact that, everyone talks about, the opposition, like the Champions League final was all about Pep Guardiola finally win it for Man City. No one was really talking about Chelsea. And if you look at, obviously when they went to Munich, no one was expecting them. And then you look at Chelsea as well. If any team can win a trophy against serious adversity, and you've got to say there's some sort of adversity, because Chelsea, the league are sticking two things up to them every time they want to cancel a match. And every time, they've got some horrendous injuries, plus they've got a fixture congestion. They're one of those, they remind, you know what, Chelsea, West Germany, back in the day. Remember, obviously I was only 2 in 1974, but I'm sure everyone, Jez, you'll probably remember. Jez, you're a bit older than me, obviously, but I'm sure everyone was like lionising over the Dutch and how it'd be beautiful when they won the World Cup and then the Germans go and spoil it. Chelsea remind me of West Germany, where they just spoil everything. You always have this romantic story, and then Chelsea come along and smash it. 2007, everyone's talking about Arsenal kids, and then those guys, came and spoiled it, and took the spoils and celebrated down the King's Road. And last season, it was Pep's coronation as a European champion at any other club other than Barcelona, and Chelsea went to spoil it all. So I never write up Chelsea. Plus another thing as well, Tottenham have got a horrendous record against Chelsea. I mean, they knocked them out of the League Cup on penalties last year, and then last time they beat Chelsea in a semi-finals in 2002 when they lost 2-1, and then they won 5-1 when at White Hart Lane when Glenn Hoddle was their manager, but they still lost to Blackburn. But I just look at the sort of, I do feel that Tottenham have got an inferiority complex when they play Chelsea. A lot, even more than us. And that's why I think, if we get beat Liverpool, which I think is going to be very difficult, because any team managed by Klopp, I fear. And I fear the fact Liverpool got match winners as well. I think we'll be playing Chelsea, not Spurs.
The thing is, we've got the worst manager in it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
We got the luckiest, though. We got the luckiest, though.
I don't know. Is he the luckiest? Like, Klopp's kind of lucky,
A lot of people thought we were very lucky to win the FA Cup 2 seasons ago.
We were. Let's be fair. We shouldn't have even been in the final.
If VAR didn't save our ass against Sheffield United, we would have been out. They scored 2 goals that were ruled offside.
Yeah, a big elephant in the room. He won the cup with Unai Emery's players.
Yeah, but apparently it's all Emery's fault and the squad was shit, mate.
So I mean? It is a stroke of luck to be at a club for only a few months, and then you have a lockdown that lasts for 3 months, and then all of a sudden
he was the water break champion. That's what it was. Water breaks gave him a career.
Yeah. But then again, we were saying about Liverpool. It works both ways. People could say Liverpool were the sort of lockdown champions, and we're the lockdown cup winners. But you take what's on offer, mate. There's no one gives you anything in football.
Oh, listen, I ain't crying that we got lucky with it. We all love the FA Cup. We've all grown up on that. It's been kind of devalued over the years, man. Same as the League Cup. The League Cup, everyone calls the shit cup. Even lower league teams play reserve teams in it, and it's like, come on, mate.
Yeah, but
you never won anything. Put your team out.
Well, they won't, because they've a lot of clubs, especially not so much lower league teams, but Premiership teams. If you go from 10th down to 20th, they value being the Premiership more than anything else. So seriously, they love the fact that they're getting all that big money, and the fact that they're getting all that merchandise from abroad, because they happen to play Man United home and away, Arsenal home and away, and obviously the big six home and away, and that's what they care about. So if you look at it, despite the fact you say all the big clubs don't take these competitions seriously, well, they do take it seriously, because you look on the names, the winners of the League Cup and the FA Cup, it's always a team from the big six.
That's true, man. Listen, big up to everyone watching live, man. Make sure you are smacking these likes up. Big up to everyone who's put a super chat, and I'm going to quickly fire through all of them. I have pinned them, and obviously replied to in the chat. Gillespie Road says, Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Jack Ramsey, thank you for your early one as well, mate. Jez says he has the biggest turkey. Is it Arteta?
Yeah.
Big up to DVS. Big up to DVS. He says, Merry Xmas, Gunner. Same to you, legends. Come on. Thank you, mate. That was $50 as well. It doesn't matter whether it's $1 or 50, but 50 in COVID times, mate. That's relentless. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas to all of you four, even. Jack Malloy says, Lee, Kenny, Jez, wishing you all very blessed Christmas and Happy New Year. Respectful
Right, Jack.
free.
Happy New
Big
Year,
up
mate.
to you, Craig. Thank you, mate. King Tony dropped 2 in a row. Kenny's eating pork chops for Christmas dinner.
Seriously, you know what? There are so many pork chops that I've encountered amongst the Arsenal fan base. Arteta's a pork chop. Aubameyang's a massive pork chop. And I'm not just talking about when he plays. He's a pork chop. Who else is in the pork chop brigade? I'll tell you one thing. A lot of commentators on Sky Sports. Jerry Carragher's a pork chop.
Jack Wilshere's a pork chop, mate.
Yeah, Jack Wilshere.
Jack Wilshere, I love you, mate, but you're a beg. You're sorry, mate. I love you. I've got to say it, right? Look, I mean, it's not slagging you off. I'm not slagging you off. I'm just saying it, right? It's over, mate. You've had so many injuries over the years that how much you train, no club is going to give you a contract, because you're going to break down. You're not going to be able to play 30 plus games a season. Your legs just don't have it. If I was Jack Wilshere, I'll get a coaching job and see if he can get it from the Arsenal side. Talking about playing.
I think to be fair, I think that's what he's doing now. Like Arteta said in the press conference the other day that he's doing his coaching badges. But the thing is, he's going to get a job somewhere. Yeah, he's English, and it's a sob story.
Hopefully with us. But I just think that Jack Wilshere has.
He can tell all the kids coming through how not to do it, because we all know that he was getting up to stuff he shouldn't be doing off the pitch, mate. Like involving taxi drivers and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe so. It's a sad story, because you remember. I look at Patino, and I see the way he runs, and he has those sort of like bow-legged run, and I just thought, bloody old Jack, And I think Jack's story is just sometimes in football. You start young, extremely young, 16, 17, you just burn out. And I just think that Jack's burnt out.
That's the problem. You're playing elite level sport and you're a kid.
I generally think that if Jack Wilshere wants to pursue his career, he's probably going to have to go maybe the United States, maybe go to abroad, or maybe go to the Championship. Do you remember Luke Chadwick? He was at Man United, had a few injuries, and he actually found his level in the lower leagues. And I think that's where Jack's going to have to go. Yeah, NK Dons. And I think that's where Jack's got to go. Obviously, Jack's pride isn't going to take that. But it's a shame, because 5 years ago, when England lost to Iceland, Jack was a mainstay in that team. 5 years later, we've had Euro 2020, which Jack should have been part of, and we had the 2018 World Cup plus the League of Nations. Jack was in his prime for those tournaments, but he's had injuries. It's a tragedy. It's a footballing tragedy. We've seen it many times with loads of players before. You know,
The thing is, though, Kenny, a lot of these players they don't look after themselves off the pitch, mate. Yeah, and they can't recover properly because they're not looking after themselves.
But do we look after them? Because sometimes sometimes you overplay them because they're effective. Sometimes clubs think, because I'm thinking football, we have this kind of adage, right, that because they're fit enough and they're more fit than when they were when George Best played or Rodney Mars played or even Gaza played, we think, right, because they're fit, let's just overexert them. Let's play them 3 games in a row, and then we have serious injuries or life-threatening situations with their hearts. Because I do think that people generally think just because you're fitter, you've got to run them into the ground. And I think a lot of young players now are going to have jack situations, regardless of whether they look after themselves off the pitch. But yeah, you're right. If you don't look after yourself off the pitch and you're a young man and you're playing these amount of fixtures, you are going to have a short career.
100%.
I think Wayne Rooney's lucky that he had a long career, because the way I look at Wayne Rooney, the way he refueled, and I think that did the same things as Jack, but he got lucky and he had a long career. Jack didn't.
He did. And
Millwall Alf here, I reckon between the 3 of us, probably 143 years.
Yeah.
God, 53 years. Kenny, you're about 50 years, I'm guessing.
I'm going to be 50 next year. 1972, 2022. Oh yeah, one more pork chop. Carve Solical is a pork chop. Absolute pork chop. He's I'll tell you one thing. I thought Robbie Savage was a pork chop, but Carve, the way you talk as if you're going to say something so important, and we just say, right, and then you say absolutely nothing. Carve, you're a pork chop.
He says a lot, but he don't say anything.
Yeah.
Waffle.
So, waffle.
Yeah, it's
but
mad.
But I was going to put a few ex-Arsenal players in there, but they've redeemed themselves to me, so they're not quite pork chops at the moment. But yeah, all that list of people, pork chop. I won't put Souness in there because Souness says a lot of stuff that we agree with. But yeah, Carragher, absolute pork
100%. Yeah, same as Gary Neville, mate. He's definitely in there. But big up to GT Playboy as well for your donation, mate. He said, I'd take Conte over Arteta any day. I think the majority of people on the planet would, mate, that are involved in football. And big up to Neftali, very generous, mate. Appreciate it. And happy Christmas to you and your family. I know you're originally Colombian, my friend, and I know that Colombia, the 24th's the day, not the 25th. So I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming your Christmas is today, mate, even though you're in America now. But listen, big up to you and your beautiful family, man. And he says, Merry Christmas to proper Arsenal gentlemen. I haven't called a gentleman for a long, long time, mate. I appreciate you all for speaking facts, keeping it 100, sending you all a Charlie Patino on the shelf for the holidays. Stay safe. The club is the star. The club is always the star, my friend.
100%. Yes.
Big up to you, Neftali, man. Mad love. Tonight is the night.
The badge comes first.
See, I know my stuff.
Always.
I knew that Colombia celebrated on the 24th. A lot of the South American Latin countries celebrate on the 24th. So do Poland, Germany. I think Czech Republic, maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of the Eastern European places, countries, they do as well. So yeah, man.
And they've got the weather, Christmas weather as well in those sort of those countries as well. Not such Germany, but Poland, and Eastern Europe, and obviously Scandinavia as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. All the snow, mate. It's hammering down with rain here. It ain't stopped raining for 2 days.
It's pissing down here.
Yeah, it's
cold as well, man. It's proper cold. But listen, big up to everyone watching. Keep pumping the likes up. There's not enough likes on this. Let me just quickly grab this super chat as well. Big up to you, Ash. Appreciate that, buddy. You could have put a comment in, mate. I would have read it. But Merry Christmas if you celebrate, my friend. Belgium, yeah, they're 24th as well. Finland as well. There's a lot of countries that do. And I'm not going to get into why, because it'll cause a mad debate. But it's to do with the actual timing of Jesus's birth. And it's disputed all over the world. So it's actually disputed inside countries. Like, so,
Well, no, I think it's actually that Santa gets them first. He lives in Lapland, so he's gonna go Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Germany,
Belgium,
Belgium, Luxembourg, and flip over to us. Then he's going to flip down to Spain, Portugal.
Yeah, he would have already done the South Americas, wouldn't he? Before.
Yeah, he's gone there early. He's gone there early. Fair play. He's got to fly back from Brazil, restock. He's got to fly round the Antarctica, flip back to Lapland, reload, have a quick couple of brandies, and then get back out. So you've got to go with the time zones. I just had a text from my son who lives in New Zealand, and he's just wished me happy Christmas and everything. And he said, "Yes, Santa's been." No, I'm joking. My son does live in New Zealand. So he's obviously seen Santa, whatever. So that's how it works. That's why they're doing it, because they're ahead of us. So when old Santa, I'll be putting the carrots out and the mince pies and the brandy for him. Don't worry about that. That's not a problem. And by the cat flat. So yeah, so that's what it is. Forget all the nonsense. That's what it is.
There you go. So anyone who didn't know, you've now been educated.
I know these things. I know these things, people.
There you go. Del Boy wants to know what red wine you drink, mate. Jez is a red wine or just a wine connoisseur, aren't you, Jez?
Well, I do collect wine. No, actually, Del Boy, this is a Guigal, Ernest Guigal, Cote de Rhone. It's not a quaffable everyday one. It's very nice. It is very nice. But this is about £18 a bottle. So it's a celebratory wine you have at Christmas and birthdays or whatever. So a Merry Christmas to you, my friend.
There you go. Let's go on to the game on Boxing Day. 2 days away. Boxing Day fixtures, I love them. I know me and you and Jez, Kenny, we're sitting here debating on whether football should be cancelled for a couple of weeks because of the away fans not being able to get to games and stuff. But
I'm sure they'll be able to get there by horse. I'm sure there's a few horse carriages. A bit like Dick Turpin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can leave if they leave now. I'm sure they get to Norwich by then. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe if they stay up for when Santa comes, he can drop them there on his sleigh.
Yeah, true.
Hey, on his way, no problem.
But
what time kickoff is it though? What time kickoff is it? 12:30.
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Oh, 3 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, we're early kickoff against City on New Year's Day,
and early kickoff against Wolves on
and early kickoff against Wolves. Yeah. But yeah, Sunday is a 3 o'clock kickoff away.
I'm gonna have to miss that one because I've got all the family here.
What, on the 28th? Tomorrow. Sorry, on Sunday.
What did you say? Boxing Day?
They're not.
Yes. Yeah.
26th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got all the family here. Mrs. I'll
try to get away from that. You can't get away from that. You know
mate, got both the daughters here, grandkids.
Yeah, Jez has got more chance of winning the Euro Millions tonight, mate.
I'm gonna have to swerve that one, guys.
No, that's fine, man. Come on, family first over anything, mate. We know that. Come on.
Well, see that's it's because of you, Jez. I want the Boxing Day fixtures, like the Christmas, program to be postponed, so people can spend time with their families. I don't know. I was actually watching a TV program, and they said that at Christmas people play games like Scrabble, board games. I mean, that's so alien to me. What's all? I just ate.
This is why I like football on, Kenny, because then I don't have to socialise. I could just sit and watch the football and work.
Christmas.
I'm just sat here thinking. I'm thinking absolutely. We'll be sitting down for dinner about 3 in the afternoon. I've got daughters come down from Oxford. I've got
Queen's
come up
Queen's
from the
Speech.
South Coast.
Queen's
so-
Speech. Queen's Speech. Jez.
Queen's Speech.
I can imagine
Yes,
you're kind
Queen's
of
Speech.
into that.
Everyone does it.
I imagine that you do watch that.
Absolutely, man. I'm a royalist. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think
Always.
90% of the country still do it. Even people who say they're not royalists, they will be with someone who have done it for all their lives. You know, get the Queen's Speech. You know, obviously on the BBC. You know, and it's just I suppose it's tradition, really. Christmas, really. You know what I mean?
I love the Queen. You know, well, we were both all three of us brought up with the Queen. I don't get into all that. I don't get into that. If people like what I say about it, but I'm a royalist, and that's how it is. We'll leave it there. But no, I'll be there, raising a glass to old Queenie.
Well, and then top of the pops afterwards. The Christmas top of the pops afterwards is a tradition, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Well, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah,
but the good
old
thing about
days.
it. Yeah, well, there was a certain wrong that he used to present on top of the pops at Christmas Day. So we don't want to talk about him.
Big up to Ash Rome. He says, big up from Cali. Omni kind of shows that the players need a union or players association. They do actually have one. But yeah, I don't really know. But he said the media and FA just care about profit, not the players or fan health. That's the way of the world, unfortunately.
And the majority of football fans are their best sort of customers. And I think that's the thing, that if you look at football in general, ordinarily players are treated as like cattle, and the goose that lays the gun but treated like cattle. I said, well, shut up, mate. You're getting paid $400,000 a year, so wear it. But I think the stakeholders during all the sort of discussions regarding whether we're having games or not, or whether the Christmas period is the match-going fan. The match-going fan is the biggest afterthought in football. We're looked upon as someone who puts their, instead of using a knife and fork, we put our fingers in the hors d'oeuvres and get out a hot wing and eat with our mouths open. And we're only needed when we want to protest about the Super League. Apart from that, we're nothing. It's facts.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the contempt that this club has for football fans, mate, is disgusting. Yeah, that's not just our club, that's all football clubs.
Story about Boxing Day.
Go on, while you're doing that, I'm going for a piss.
1981 Boxing Day. It was Arsenal West Ham, and went to the game, went to the pub, got absolutely smashed. Got home about 7, and I'd totally forgotten family round and all that sort of. I said I'd be home for like 5:30. My mum hit me round the head and sent me to bed. And I was 20 years old, and I was like given such a berating for getting home, pissed up. Seriously, I was seriously pissed. Seriously,
I think I do get it, because I think when I was younger, I liked the Christmas schedule because ordinarily, it was always. Because remember the times when we played games at 11:30? It wasn't 12:30, 12 o'clock. It was 11:30. Like, so for instance, we played Spurs ordinarily, mostly at their ground, at 11:30.
Yeah.
On Boxing Day, or it'll be at Highbury at 11:30, and there'll be no TV around. Police just thought, right, let's just have it at 11:30. Again, as I said before, I'm not saying it as a stereotype. I think it's factual that a lot of Arsenal fans and Spurs fans did live around a sort of North London suburban enclaves, and maybe further out in Hertfordshire, or maybe North East London, Essex. It wasn't a situation where we, a lot of there was a Manchester Ashby where you live now, and people moving, Norfolk, all those areas. It was quite local, so I suppose you can actually have a derby during those sort of games. There was no kind of like a computer who picked the games. It was just like on a piece of paper. But as I said before, even I know factually that before the reason why I doubt it's a computer sometimes is that I know before the season starts, a lot of the chairman and chief executives do get consulted by the Premier League to discuss when they would like what sort of fixtures they want and what time. And yet they try and tell us it's a computer. So if it's a computer, why are you asking these clubs in advance? When would you like these sort of fixtures? You know, it's quite extraordinary that happens.
It was always, wasn't it, Kenny? It was always back in the 70s, 80s. It was always Tottenham at Christmas.
Yeah,
100%. If it wasn't it was New Year's Day, always the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then,
after
you'd
be going up the lane on. I remember when it was 79, 78, 79, going up the lane on. It was Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve it was, and as you say, 11:30 kickoff. We done them 5-0. Liam Brady, and all that, and I remember going up there, and it was always local at Christmas. You'd have Tottenham, West Ham, or
Fulham,
Palace,
Chelsea,
all those sort of games.
Chelsea, Charlton when they were there in the first division back in them days. It was always local
as well, Chase.
because of the trains and shit. You know.
You remember Chase as well? They used to have a game on the 26th Boxing Day, and on the next day they had a game. Because I remember we played Spurs in 83-84 season where we beat them 4-2. Rafael Mead got a couple of goals, and Charlie Nichols got a couple of goals as well. And then the next day we played Birmingham at home and we drew 1-1.
Yeah.
No, and that's what.
And people think there's too much football now, and the players are getting flogged to death now. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Different game.
It was the 26th and 20. We had the game on the 26th and the 27th, and then there was New Year's Day game, and then the FA Cup was a few days later.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think that the Christmas period. I think when I was a kid, I didn't think about that. Then
Christmas period was really intense. It was really intense because you had. I remember occasionally how it worked out. You have Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, another game.
Bank holiday Monday the next day.
New Year's Day. It was intense. Because that was when we had the old big match on ITV.
Yeah. And
all that, and you'd watch, or sometimes if you couldn't get an away ticket.
Weren't that big match Philip Schofield? Was it Philip Schofield? Not Philip Schofield. No.
Brian Moore.
Brian Moore. That's it. I don't know why I thought Philip. That was where they had the people that could call in and they had a panel. Is that the one, or am I thinking of something else?
No, you think it's something else. But I think what's happening is that it was Brian Moore, the late great Brian Moore, and then you had Jimmy Hill and Bob Wilson.
Yes, sorry, I'm thinking. What was the name of the show? What was the name of the show where they? It was a woman. I can't remember her name, and it was. I'm sure it was Philip Schofield. Yeah, and then they'd get they'd have a panel full of young adults or kids, and then they'd give the phone to the guest that's coming on, a manager or a player.
Oh,
and what was that called? I'm sure it was Philip Schofield. I may be way wrong, but I'm sure it was him.
I think it was on a Saturday. On BBC One.
And there was a woman with him as well, a woman presenter and him.
Oh, a blonde woman. Yeah, it was like Saturday. It was a Saturday Live, and then the other side you had Cliswells, I think. It was, you know what I mean.
You could phone in, and you could, and then you had a panel of kids in there that would ask the manager or the player that was there a question.
But I think it's maybe that maybe people with a panel won't remember.
Yeah,
I do remember. Yeah, but I just think, but you know what I think. We had all those kind of games. These games weren't live. There was no live TV, and there was no. They actually showed the games. You were lucky if you got the goals on the news highlights. So I think during the times when, obviously 70s and 80s, there was no Sky, there was no like Netflix or Amazon Prime. So, when Saturday night TV, Val Doonigan, Mike Yardwood would get about 26 million people watching.
Yes.
2 Ronnies, Morecambe and Wise, and then the other side, you had a Royal Variety performance. So people watch TV and families sat together, unless the older ones want to go, to a disco. And I think what's happening now is that there's more live TV, and I think what's happening is that everything's at the bidding of the Premier League and the clubs. For instance, they say
Have you ever watched the film Fever Pitch?
Yeah.
Yes.
I watched it the other night.
Film.
I've watched it
Colin
years ago.
Firth, innit?
With
Colin Firth.
Yeah, that's him, Colin Firth. I'll tell you what, I watched it, and I watched that, and there's an actual bit there where my granddad's in it right at the beginning in the West Stand, and you'll notice he's got a big nose like me. And then there's another bit they pan out from where the East Stand is, and there's the house I lived in. And I was looking at it, and I was thinking, oh man, that's sad. That really took me back. Like pictures of like the North Bank, the West Stand, the East Stand.
And you can see your old house. That's mental. That's fucking mad.
Like, yeah, if you ever watch it again, about 10 minutes in, there's a picture of 2 old boys, and it was like going back in the day, and there's a guy there with a flat cap and quite a big nose like me, and that's my granddad.
No way.
Yep. No way, mate. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to watch it again just to get it up, because
it's about 10 minutes in. Filmed in the Upper West. It's filmed. Colin Firth is like a little kid, like he's portrayed as a little kid, and he goes with his dad to Arsenal, and they're sat there, they're moaning about Arsenal in the 70s. It's about 74, 75.
We were cracked then, Jez. We were really cracked.
Were we? Fuck me, were we? And there's a picture of them filming it. I mean, it was filmed later than that, obviously, because it was filmed in the 90s. But there's a guy there, and you look at it, and there's the little lad, his dad. There is my granddad, and there's an old boy.
That's quality, man. That's mad.
That's quality, mate.
That's actually mad. That is insane, mate. Somebody put a comment in a minute ago saying, I love Kenny and Jez's stories. It's class, isn't it? We should have called this podcast Story Time with Kez and Jenny. Jenny? Yeah, Kenny and Jez. Kez and Jenny.
I think what it is.
Me and Kenny and you could go off for days. Jesus, we've got.
I think what's happened is that people do want to hear the story. They do want to hear about the club. I mean, it wasn't. It hasn't always been like this. No, it hasn't. Poor results under Arteta. Great results under Arsene Wenger. Obviously, George Graham is. There was a time when, Arsenal. I think Arsenal were the first club to actually, engage with the community, especially around 1985. We're the first club to have community programs for the JVC. JVC program, JVC centre. So the club, as when I was a kid, there was so much interaction with us locals in Islington, and I think the club still do that, but obviously they don't do it in a mass. It's not as noticeable, and it wasn't as fresh as it was before. And I just think, what, our club is so full of history. I just think it's a shame that at the moment that we're having a transition upon transition, and our wonderful top class fans ain't having a Champions League trophy to admire, or they're not in a Champions League, or they're not challenged for league. It's such a shame. Such a shame.
I was disappointed with it. I very much feel disappointed with Arsenal as a club, in the fact the rich and great depth of history that Arsenal has. They don't promote it. They don't educate people. I know there's probably a lot of people who don't give a shit. They don't care about.
Yeah, but you at least pull it out there.
You know, but at least have a website or put it in their main website about certain things that happen in the history of Arsenal, like things like I mean, this means nothing to anybody, but like when Highbury was bombed in the Second World War, silly little facts. Underneath the old North Bank was buried a white horse and a cart. Because when they were rebuilding the North Bank after the Second World War, that horse and cart fell in the bloody hole. They died. And what they did, they just buried it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but see, you know what people seem to forget? World title fight in 1966. You know, Muhammad Ali and Henry Cooper. Highbury, our beautiful ground. You know, 1966. So, you know, a lot of people don't seem to, you know, remember that. And also, there was a time when we had our lowest attendance of 4,000 in 1966 because we played Leeds, who beat us, by the way. But it was on the same time as Liverpool and Borussia Dortmund when they played at Hampden Park. So a lot of people thought, Arsenal fans thought, right, a live game with TV, very rare, stuff it. It's Leeds, we're going to lose anyway. So it's these sort of, you know, trivia things that, that made some people go, oh, you old fogies. But, you know, bit of trivia as well, you know, certain things.
These are good like pub quiz questions as well. But not only that, little things like I didn't know about the horse and carriage. I didn't know the horse and I never knew that until you just said it. I never knew that.
Highbury was used as a marshalling yard in World War II for the army, and it was bombed, and it bombed the North Bank. So after the war, 46, because Arsenal actually
didn't we go and play our games at Spurs?
Yeah, we
played
did.
Hot Lane.
We shared the ground with Spurs, and that's where supposedly the hatred comes from. But yeah, they were filling in the North Bank. Now, due to the lack of transport, they were still using horse and carts. So they were tipping in rubble to fill it up. Unfortunately, this cart and white horse, fell in and it died, and they just buried it. And it's probably still there to this day.
I suppose it was easier to bury it than try and drag it all out, wasn't it?
It out, it's like 40 foot down. And I remember the story. But it's things like, is an interesting one. When the Fairs Cup started, the Intercity Fairs Cup in 56, certain clubs were asked to join it. Barcelona, Madrid, Arsenal, Birmingham City, and other various clubs. Arsenal turned around and said, no, we don't want to play in that.
We won Sweet FA from 53 to 70. And I've got another bit of trivia that's going to really piss Arsenal fans off and hate Spurs even more. 1973, Arsenal finished second championship.
Yeah.
But in 1974, we were not allowed to play the UEFA Cup because Spurs got priority because they won it in 72 and won it in 73 because two teams from the same city couldn't be in the cup.
Play in it.
UEFA Cup.
Yep.
So that's another reason to hate Tottenham.
Well, there you go. See, I never knew that until you just said that. But then I guessed what the outcome was by what you said. I never knew that. And the thing is, like, I feel like I know quite a bit about the club, right? And I do try and educate myself. Like the company I used to work for, I can't remember the fella's name. Old boy, he was in his late 70s. Yeah, no worries. In his late 70s. I will come back to these super chats that I've pinned and I haven't read, but I'll come back to them in a minute, people. Yeah, keep smashing the likes. The company I worked for fitted his windows, so I've just gone knocking like in the area, and then I've just walked straight in his house and we're fitting his windows that day. Shook his hand, blah blah blah, chatting to him, and I see a little fridge magnet, Arsenal. I said, "Oh, you're a gooner." It's like, yeah. I said, "Oh, so am I, mate." And started talking. Mate, I was in that geezer's house for 4 hours, mate. He had me up in the loft. Yeah, he was getting that. I've still got it on my Instagram, right? It's I'll try and find it. It's going to take me a while, but it's a program. I think it was the magazine from back in the 70s. And do you remember they used to have the little caricatures of the players in the magazine? Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to quickly scroll if I can find it. It might take me a while, but he showed me it was in mint condition, mate. Yeah. He showed me he had every match day program. He's still got his season ticket, but he said he gives it to his son now because he's getting on a bit and he's got arthritis and stuff like that. Yeah. Right. But some of the stuff that guy was telling me was just insane. And I was like, fucking hell. I thought I knew quite a bit about this club. But that old boy, he even offered to give me a shirt, right? He said to me, go take one of these old shirts. Yeah. And it was literally one of the old shirts from back in the 60s or something. Yeah. And I was like, no, mate, I can't take that off you. Like, honestly, I'm not. He goes, no. He goes, listen. He goes, my son's an Arsenal fan, but he's not really that into it. He goes, I can tell you. I said, I ain't taking that shirt off you, mate. I refuse.
I would have taken it.
No, I can't. I was tempting. Yeah, but the funny thing is, I thought, no, let me just get him for two front and patio door instead, because I get paid for that. Yeah, but no, I went back when he had the patio door and the front door fitted. Yeah, and we were sat chatting there for another 3 or 4 hours. What a lovely fella. But people like that, yeah, like they really give you the inner history of the football club. And it's like, I feel like we've lost that. And I think that's not just down to social media or the move to the Emirates. I feel that's just down to people are just lazy with it.
They don't you know what? You've got to remember one thing, right? We live in a sort of fast, like world at the moment where basically people want it now. It's like, people watch TV, don't even have TVs now. They watch it on this.
Yeah.
On their phones.
I found it. I found it, yeah. I put it on my Instagram. The magazine, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I remember that.
I'm going to scroll because I've took a few pictures of it, right? And it has some of the other stuff in there as well, like the Football League. It comes up with all the scores, the Football Association Cup, and then it comes up with this is what I was saying to Kenny when you went toilet. Yeah, the little caricatures of the players.
Yeah,
look right. Yeah,
Radford, look.
Bloody
class,
hell.
isn't it?
And one thing I would say, Lee, guys, I would say is that if you do go to the Emirates, you just go there before the game at half time. They do have a copy of all the programs going back to the sort of 70s and 80s, and it goes all the way back.
They did that either.
They actually have a mural. If you so for instance, like there's a place where you can place a bet. So on block 3, if you go past block 2, if you go like block 2, 1, and go upwards, and you stay on your left, they actually got a mural of all the old programs. And it was like bringing days. We're talking 40, 50 years even. I was thinking, Jesus Christ.
Mate, this is what this old fella had. Yeah, he had football shirts. Like I said, he's still got his season ticket, but he gives it to his son. Yeah, because like I said, he's touching 80 or mid 80s. That was 3 years ago. I just looked, June 2018. I put that up, right? And he had every single football shirt that Arsenal had done. Yeah, from the late 60s all the way through to the early 90s. Then he stopped buying them. Right, and then he had every single match day program for every home game from the late 60s to then as well. Yeah, and he said from the early 90s when Wenger started taking over, like mid 90s, sorry, he said he was going, but his arthritis started kicking in at that point. He said so he weren't going relentlessly. He said it was because he lived in Stevenage, even though there's a train, so had to get a tube and that. He said it was getting a bit of a chore. He said, but I never wanted to turn my ticket back in, so I wanted to keep it. He goes, and my son. Like, even though he weren't massive on it, he said, like, I wanted him to keep the ticket. So he gave it to his son. Yeah, him and his wife were lovely, man. Like, really, really nice people. But the shit they were saying, like, I learned so much. That's why when I went back there, I didn't even care that they had nothing left to do on their house and I weren't going to get paid. I just wanted to talk to him. Yeah, and I was like, I'm going back there today. Like, when I seen the job sheet, I was like, right, I'm back. Can't even remember his name. But what a fella. Proper.
Go.
No, all I'm saying is that, I think, the club could do more. But you know what the fans want and what we really, really want is a team that, is going to be like, do us proud.
To be proud of. That's all it is. We just want to be proud of the team, mate.
Regardless of the fact that, I fell out of Arsenal and I fell out of love with him. He gave me what I wanted and George gave me what I wanted. I think in the 70s, because I was young and I didn't realise I wasn't around for 71. Terry Neal gave me a bit of what I wanted because I thought that in the 70s, getting to 3 cup finals and getting to the League Cup, the European Cup Winners' Cup final as well, I thought that was just utopia because I just assumed that the only team that was allowed to win the league, remember I was a kid then, was Liverpool. Yeah. So I accepted Liverpool's success and thought, well, I'll settle for just being a cup team that could beat Liverpool occasionally in the cups. And I accepted that until George Graham came along. So, you know, I do accept that, you know, we haven't really had an era of dominance as such.
It's always been
like that, yeah.
It's been bits and bobs. Let me quickly rifle through these super chats and other comments quickly as well. Big up to everyone still watching, over 400, man. Keep pumping the likes up. Appreciate the love. Merry Christmas to everyone who's celebrating. Everybody in Australia, I know it is Christmas Day, and other countries across the world. So big up to all of you. Big up to everyone who's not celebrating. Big up to everyone who's celebrated on the 24th, which is today. But big up to Del Boy. So I want to say thanks for all the shout outs. You always help others. And to Jez, you're a bleeding legend. I love listening to your views. King Kenny, you're a savage of a man and such a true gunner. Happy Christmas. Big up to you, my guy. Big up to your little boy as well. This little boy come on a little the video calling show the other day. Big up to his little boy, man. Big up to Paul as well. He said, what do you think of Martin Keown sticking up for players' protests? For a players' protest against the amount of matches they're playing? As Kenny would say, he's a flipping pork chop.
Yep. The thing about it, right, is that I understand where the players are coming from because the simple reason is that, you know, there is a fault, and I suppose who might disagree with the majority of fans think, and the majority of people thinking, Simon Jordan had a barb at the players and said, look, if it wasn't football, you'd be working at McDonald's. And he's probably right. But all I'm going to say, I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I'm just saying me piece. When Chris Eriksen collapsed, everyone was saying, oh, this is so sad. Don't take for granted. Everyone around you, hug the people near you because you don't know when your time's going to come. Yet 6 months later, we're basically saying to these players, shut up your pork chops, be grateful for what you have. I wish we had the half of your talent, but they're talking about burnout. Obviously not feeling safe because of the pandemic. But I've always said, with the calendar we had since lockdown, since June, plus you had Euro 2020, and then you got the World Cup, I can only see more injuries, and I fear that we're going to see another situation where there's going to be a collapse. I really fear it. I don't want to be that person, but I do. And I think that's why, because of what I saw in June in Copenhagen, I stepped back and said, "Whoa, maybe that's why I can't tell them, keep quiet." What do you think, Jez?
Totally agree, man. Totally agree. This is where I think the problem being, Kenny, is where nowadays modern footballers are so they're like racehorses. They're like championship races. They're so highly tuned that you can overplay something, and that person can pull something. It might be minor, but it can knock them out. It can knock them out for like a minor calf muscle, let's say, a little twist. It can knock them out for like 6 weeks. And I think this is where we go now with this congestion, and with the games that have been cancelled for other clubs, they're in a problem because they've got to complete those games to actually get back on track. Now, how do we do that? I don't know. I'm not the solution to it. But I think it is a problem now that, especially when we get into the new year, there's so much intensity with FA Cup. Like we've got the League Cup, a Carabao Cup. FA Cup. Then you've got, well, we're not in Europe, but there are teams that are in all three of those competitions, plus the Premier League. Puts a hell of a lot of pressure, plus international stuff on certain players. And I think it can cause major issues.
And then you've got Wenger wanting the FA, wanting the World Cup every 2 years. And
Yeah.
then you have, what's he doing? And then you have another situation where, you know, the South American confederations, the Europe, UEFA, when they get together to have a tournament. So even the UEFA League, the Nations League, is all about making football more competitive, so we don't have boring friendlies. So that's more games.
Mate, Wenger, don't listen to Wenger. He also said fourth is a trophy, mate. I wouldn't listen to anything he said. Compulsive liar.
Even so, what's happening right now? Everyone wants to maximise the money that's on offer from TV, because they know that there's a fertile ground now, you know, in Asia, you know, the United States now, because right now it's a good time to, you know, have as many tournaments and the Premier League being powerful, because right now people from the United States do care about football. They didn't give a shit before, but they care now, because I was told by an American, obviously someone you know, that they think the MLS is a load of crap. So they want to see our football. They want to see all these big tournaments, and I think, you know, you a lot of ex-professionals are moving to the United States and getting jobs on NBC and ESPN, and even, you know, journalists, you know, female, male, from this country are moving over there because it's fertile ground. So with all this fertile ground, FIFA, UEFA, the Premier League are just fattening everyone up with a lot of games, but they're asking the goose to play those games. I don't see any. I can't see how games and these injuries and these life-changing situations can't be connected with overexertion. I don't see it being anything else. But at the end of the day, the customers, i.e., fans who love football, want the wall-to-wall football, and they don't just want wall-to-wall football. They want wall-to-wall competitive football. They're right. They're always right. But I just see a situation where, you know, look at cricket. You know, I know everyone says, "Oh, Ken, where are you going about cricket?" But cricket has one of the biggest suicide rates because of the fact that a lot of them spend a lot of time away from home
on their own.
Injuries.
6 months. Some tours are 6 months alone, mate. Over Christmas, away from your kids and that, mate.
Exactly. And then you're getting injuries with especially fast bowlers. You know what I mean? Especially when you're asked to bowl 99 an hour. You know, we're having more cricket because, again, the IPL, you know, BBL in Australia, and then you've got the Caribbean League. Every you know, test playing country wants to have their own 2020 competition. Then you've got the international competitions as well. I just think at the moment, if you're a sports fan and you just want to sit at home watching sport, it's brilliant for you. It's excellent, and I shake your hand because you've got the goodies, mate. Because we didn't have the goodies when we were kids, but what you're going to have is more casualties or more strikes because they're saying our bodies can't take anymore.
No, mate. I think at some point it is gonna get to that point, because there is too many games. Like I've said this before to you too. Yeah, Arteta's been here 2 years, just turned. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. In that 2 years, in fact, maybe 10 days ago, whatever it was. In that 2 years, Bukayo Saka's played 86 games for him. There are 85 games. That's without his England games. That's now touching 100 games in 2 years for a 20-year-old boy. That's a lot of football, mate. That is a lot of football for a 20-year-old who's still developing into his body shape. Obviously, he's working in the gym as well. Then he's running around. Then he's getting kicked. He's getting elbowed. I actually thought this the other day as well when I see Eddie Nketiah and he scored that hat-trick. We was at Eddie Nketiah's debut. Do you remember, Kenny? The whole stadium standing up against Norwich. Eddie.
I think you were with DT. DT nearly knocked me over and came down your road when you were on the way to that match.
He did, yeah, in the car. Yeah, you were going from the gym to the ground, weren't you?
I think he was more shocked to see me go to the gym, not the match, and I was shocked to see him actually go to the match. But then again, you guys at the time would have turned up to a night with an envelope.
Oh, 100%. That was when I was on it, man. But do you know what was funny? The reason I brought Eddie up is I remember when he came off the bench in that game, and he reminds me a little bit of Saka now in the early Saka days, the last 2 seasons or so, yeah? Very skinny, very slight. When you look at Eddie now, and I thought this the other day, I thought, fucking hell, he's bulked up a bit, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like he obviously is not massive, yeah, but I was like, from that kid that started that game, or came on in the second half, sorry, in that game, to how Eddie's body shape is now, it's chalk and cheese. Yeah, and it's like, so you're doing all that work in the gym, you're doing all that cardio work in the gym, then you're doing all of that running around on a football pitch, and you're doing that at the highest level. Then you're going and doing it for your country in Saka's case. Mate, I can see why players are finished very early in football. I really can. Because Michael Owen goes and wins a Ballon d'Or. 4 years later, he's finished pretty much, isn't he? I know he carried on playing and he had moments in football, but he weren't the elite Michael Owen that broke onto the scene because he got flogged to death.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The pressure on managers to win games, and the pressure on them, TV executives to fill in their schedules, and those TV executives are aided and abetted by the associations. Maybe a lot of players are right. What's the point of us turning up to a Zoom meeting when the decision's already made? And I think the decision's been made because at the end of the day, it's like a football fan who hasn't been for a long time, hasn't been to football before, but you take them to a game, and then you take them an away game where everyone's a genuine fan. There's a lot of passion, singing, and we win. They're addicted to that. They've got to go to every game now, and I think it's an addiction. I think our cousins abroad who get to know our game and get to love our game, they want to see more of us. They want more of that, and I think that's why the Premier League, is laughing. UEFA's laughing. The FIFA's laughing. Every association that has a product with great world-class players is laughing because, people want more. They're not going to get fed up. They want more. And I think, and the player is always going to be the catch thing. The match-going fan, all right, we're not going to probably end up in A&E or end up in a sort of like in a reconstruction department for our knees and our arms, but we're going to be in a situation we're going to say, well, bloody hell, mate, we've got to travel a bit far. And what if they had their own way and said they went in that 39th game?
In America Qatar, or somewhere.
Qatar. Yeah. And they said, oh, yeah, by the way, your season tickets are extended. You've got to pay a bit more because of that 38th game. Oh, yeah, don't worry. We'll run travel packages. British Airways have got a great deal where we even give you your hotel to go out there. And we're going to have our own away section. Don't worry. There's going to be local fans, but please, at least 3,000. You please pay those lovely packages. Pretty please. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Big up to this guy as well, Prince. The show was called Going Live with Sarah Green and Philip Schofield.
That's it. Yes,
he hasn't said it, but I know now you said Sarah Green. I know it was Philip Schofield on that show, and that was early 90s.
Oh
no, it was late 80s.
Late 80s to the. I'm sure it was still on in the early
90s. 88. That was 87, 88.
Yeah.
Ask a question, right? I know this is not football related. Did you fancy Sarah Green?
Mate, I was probably about 8. I fancied myself. I still fancy myself now.
All right, one more question because we've got to go.
He was married to. She got married to. Oh God, what was his name? Oh man, I remember
the helicopter crash. If memory serves you right, they got involved. Is it Mike? I think his name is Mike Smith or something. One of those guys. Yeah,
Mike Smith. Yeah, Mike Smith. I've just googled it. Mike Smith.
Sarah Green. She had nice legs.
Jess, before we finish up, I've got a vision for you, right? And Lee, this is for you as well.
Go on, mate.
I'm going to say one thing. Jez, you're going to need that wine.
And what?
You're going to need that wine, mate. When I say this right now.
Go on.
Sally James in leather. Do you remember her in leather? And Tiz was.
Yes. Yes. Ooh. Oh man.
It wasn't Lenny Henry. It wasn't Lenny Henry going, okay, or scaring a dog.
Kenny, I'm an old man, man. I'm old. I can't take this.
Prince Tarrant getting a custard pie in her face. It was Sally James in leather gear.
Yes.
Like, hey, what's going on over here, darling?
Anyway, I was just going to say, we talked very quickly. We were talking about
go on, mate.
Talk about old school. Up in my loft up there, I have 19 boxes of Arsenal football programs going back to 1924.
Oh, wow. Ooh. Have you ever, let me ask you this, sorry to cut you, yeah? Have you ever thought about putting some of them in the museum at the club?
No.
Because some of them, they might not, well, obviously they probably will have them, but maybe they ain't. Maybe you've got some that are unique. Like, I don't know.
I've got a 27 FA Cup final one, Cardiff City Arsenal.
Oh, we lost that one.
Yeah, why you got that one, Jez?
Michael Ferguson scored for Cardiff City. I've got 34, 35.
1950, when we beat Liverpool 2-0. 1950, you've got to have that one.
Yes,
Liverpool
I have.
2-0, 1950.
I've got all the FA Cup ones. I've got the 69-70 Fairs Cup home and away legs. 70-71.
Are they in mint condition, or are they like some of them like a little bit tatty? Or
some of them. Because don't forget, in the 30s, they were just brown paper. They were like 1D, and they were like stapled together. They were like one.
Okay, yeah. So some of them are fall apart. The staples come out.
So they're not great, but
you should post that. You should post some of these, man. Like, or like take pictures of them. Like, and we'll put them over the screen and like show people that, man. People will be interested in that.
I'll dig some of them out. I think I've got 34, 35 season. I've got every one from 34, 35 when we won the league. 33, 34, 35. And I have got a shirt from 1947, Arsenal shirt. We don't know whose it was. All we know.
Well, it's a player's shirt. It's not your it's a player's shirt.
No, you couldn't get replica shirts then.
Oh, of course you couldn't. Fucking hell. See, I've had a few drinks, Jez.
It
weren't about the money back then, mate.
It's thick. It's as thick as a bloody wool coat. I tell you,
obviously they didn't have the numbers back on them back then, no?
Nah.
That they didn't come in until I think us and Chelsea were the first clubs to have numbers on the back of the shirts, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Us and Chelsea.
I've got one more trivia for you.
Go on.
Remember the Battle of Highbury, England versus Italy?
At Highbury.
Yeah, it was in 1930s. Italy were World champions, and England beat them. And the Italians went mad, fouling, punching people with the ball. And poor old Ted Drake got an idea as well from the Italians.
That's because he was so good, they didn't like him.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, I've got to bounce.
We're going to wrap this up. Sorry, listen, I didn't realise we'd done an hour and a half, lads, and I know you've got family round and that. Listen, Jez, big up to you, my friends. Have a wicked evening. Have a wicked Christmas day with wifey. Have a wicked Boxing Day with your family.
Jez, don't worry, mate. I'll send you the score.
Yeah, well, I'll try. I'll try. But
Kenny? Don't laugh, right? My wife's trying to phone me on the phone.
Yeah.
No, all right, listen, I'm sorry I've kept you two for so long. Just blame it on me, mate. Kenny, listen, I love you to bits. Jez, I love you to bits. Big up to everyone in the chat, yeah?
Big up.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Come on.
Have a great time with your families. And have a
find another job.
Kenny, have a great Christmas. Lee, have a great Christmas.
Thank you. Big up, man. I'll be back again Christmas Day evening, most likely 9 o'clock 8 o'clock UK time. I'll get a few of you guys in the chat on as well. I'll throw the link out to some of you because I know a lot of you will be on your own tomorrow. A lot of you don't celebrate. A lot of you have celebrated today instead of tomorrow. And you lot make the channel. So listen, Jez, Kenny, appreciate you always, man. Go and spend some... Get out of here, man. We're going. I'll take her out. Laters. Merry Christmas.
Take care.